So starting the test drive in this Mach all-wheel drive in the premium trim, pretty quick, even with the standard range battery. It's no GT, but it's all-wheel drive, and with 2 electric motors, you're not typically going to be slow. But what's great about this car is it has one of the rougher rides, I think, for an EV, but you can feel the road. This is one of the best driving cars, and I know this from personal experience. One of the reasons I've kept mine so long, it just, every time I get behind the wheel, it's just a joy to drive. And they're pretty much all the same. And mine's rear wheel drive, so it's a little bit more fun coming out of corners, but still, this is a fun car, and that's why they kind of gave it the Mustang nameplate. Even though it's not a traditional Mustang, it still has Mustang tendencies. Now, just driving this in this slow traffic, it can get a little annoying, I think. Probably to the people behind you when you give it throttle and you're up to speed, and then you just immediately start braking, because it just accelerates so quickly, so efficiently, and it's just so much fun to do. But again, the driving dynamics of this are very driver oriented. So again, it's not the most comfortable vehicle. I use mine for work 99% of the time, and I have a minivan for if I need to take my family out. And especially just driving in tight traffic all day, it's nice to have something that can get over quickly, accelerate quickly, brake quickly, if you ever need to do any of that. And this is what these are probably best for. But again, I keep mine in unbridled pretty much all the time, unless I'm going on a longer road trip, just so I can have full power when I need it. But the all-wheel drive system definitely makes it easier to drive if you ever are in snowy conditions. Obviously, you probably wouldn't want to be out there because your range diminishes quite a bit. A few other things to worry about, especially because the ground clearance on these is not fantastic. It's not a Subaru, but it does have the capability in lighter snow, having both of those motors. Now the whisper mode, I'll just try this just to show you all. You have to put your pedal down a lot more to get the same acceleration that you do in Engage or Unbridled, but it does make it easier to drive in this slow accelerating traffic as well. It drives more normally. You could call it an eco mode, but it's really just a non-sport mode, because I feel like Engage and Unbridled are pretty much sport and sport plus. So this is like in between a normal and an eco mode, and it's an eco mode for an EV because those have instant torque. So if you put your foot down, you're gonna take off pretty much on any electric vehicle, even the slowest of the slow ones. But again, driving dynamics are, in my opinion, fantastic, but where you're able to feel the road so well, just having that tighter steering, especially in the unbridled mode, everything stiffens up. The seats can get uncomfortable on longer journeys. And by longer journeys, I mean like a few hours or more, but driving an hour and a half to 2 hours one way, as long as you get out every hour or so, hour and a half to 2 hours, you're usually in pretty good shape. But I will say, I drove a Cadillac Lyriq for a few days. I put a review of that up recently, but I drove one for a couple of days, and that had the massage function, very adjustable, and just a smooth ride. So that was like on the other end of the spectrum for EVs. But again, this one is a lot stiffer. I can feel the road a lot better in this. So definitely compare that with the Lyriq. The Lyriq will ride a lot better, a lot more comfortable, but this is a lot less comfortable, but a lot more fun to drive and a lot more agile in that aspect. Now I'm gonna put in unbridled as we get on the interstate here, but one thing I wanted to mention is, with this being an EV, a Mustang at that, I don't have the power sunshade for the roof, which is kind of a disappointment, but it gives me so much headroom. I'm 6'3", longer legs, and I have so much more space in terms of where my head can fit in the roof line. But hopefully I'll be able to show this thing out. Yeah, great pull, just insanely fast. Just wanted to show a few pulls. And that was with the pedal down. Feels about as quick as my rear wheel drive one. Of course, mine has the extended range battery, but this one's also at 43%. Let's turn on all the safety stuff and see if we can get the, no, it says not available. Okay, you can't see my face, that's why. So it says, so there it is. It's the co-pilot working, keeping centered in the lanes and then keeping the adaptive cruise going. So just a quick sneak peek there. But in terms of competition, I do think that this is a pretty solid option for the Lyriq. If you're looking at something like that, pretty much every EV out that's in this realm, even the Subaru Solterra, the Ioniq 5, so many competitors. The Tesla Model Y I think is a direct competitor for everyone because it's been such a good seller. But all in all, I feel like this is the most fun to drive. It's not necessarily the most practical, just in terms of being well-rounded, but like for me, it's perfect because I like an agile vehicle. I like a car that I can drive hard and not have to worry about. It burns through tires, but it's just, I love how these cars drive. I love the efficiency of them, and most importantly, they just look so good. But this will bring me to the end of my review of the 2023 Ford Mustang Mach-E, and this one's in the premium trim level.